Okay. Hi, in this video I'm going to discuss about maximum minimum value of expression, something like this, that the question asks you to find the maximum and minimum value of expression that in the form of a sine theta plus b cos theta, or a cos theta plus b sine theta. Alright, something like this. So but I'm going to repeat again, teaching you how to express this in this form first. At first, if you want to decide whether this is what is the maximum value for this, minimum value for this, so that you also need to express this in a single trigonometric function form. Where this form, okay, before you decide whether what is the maximum and minimum value for this expression. So this is also one of the application for this form. So okay, I can rewrite as r. I repeat again. So here will be sine x cos alpha minus with sine a minus b, right? So sine a cos b, cos a sine b, right? Cos a sine b. So now you group together the r cos alpha sine x minus with r sine alpha cos x. Right? Now you can see that's why they choose negative, they don't choose positive. If you choose positive, here will be positive, right? So if you compare, one of the variable here will be negative. Okay, it's not suitable. So now I can directly compare. Sine x, in front of sine is r cos alpha, in front of sine here is 3. So I know that r cos alpha equals to 3, equation 1, and r sine alpha equals to 4, not negative 4, because here already got negative, right? Already got negative. So what we want is this number in front of cos here, where this bracket, this one 4, right? 4. So equation 2. So as usual, you find the value of r and alpha. So r, the formula will be square root of 3 square. Just take this 2 and square, right? 4 square, then I think I got 5, right? I got 5. So how to find alpha? I repeat again in a very fast. So I take 2 divided by 1, right? 2 divided by 1 to get sine over cos. So I will get r sine alpha over r cos alpha, which gives me 4 over 3. So I got tangent alpha equals to 4 over 3. And alpha to be alpha to be arctangent of 4 over 3. So we just follow what the question required. So arctangent 4 over 3, which give you 53.1, okay, the same, 53.1 degree. Alright, so now you have expressed, okay, I have repeat again, now you have known that your r value will be 5, right? Your r value of 5, and your alpha will be 53.1, okay, 53.1 degree. So I'm going to erase all okay, I'm going to erase all here. Now I'm going to start explaining about the maximum and minimum value, right? The maximum and minimum value of this expression, of this. So okay, before that I want to go to the very basic concept of sine cos, the maximum and minimum value for sine cos. As you know that sine theta, sine x, the maximum value, right? You learned the graph before, right? The graph where you know that the sine graph have a maximum of 1 and minimum of -1, right? So if you want to know more detail about why is it 1, then you have to refer to unit circle, the 1 unit circle from the modern maths that you learned during your form 4. Alright, if you want to go for detail, you should study about that. So 1 and -1. So the minimum is 1, minimum is -1, maximum is 1. Same thing happened for cos also. Cos, if you see cos x, what is the minimum value and the maximum value? So if you remember the graph for cos will be look at this way. Alright, they have a phase angle difference of 90 degree. So where 0 degree, here also 0 degree, but it start with 1, right? So and -1. Same thing, the maximum and minimum is 1. But tangent is unbound. okay, it will be infinity and negative infinity. So we don't study the maximum and minimum value for tangent theta, because there are no maximum minimum for tangent theta. So, okay, so let's look at this. Start from a very basic. I just want to explain this, that sine x is between -1 and 1, cos x is also between -1 and 1. So what will make the value of the maximum minimum change is the amplitude, okay? It won't affect by the angle, alright? The angle inside the function. So for example, if I, let's say if I have 2 sine x, so I will multiply this inequality, everything with 2, right? -2. So which gives me that the maximum value here is 2 and minimum is -2. As you learn from your Form 5, I think you should revise, okay, all the knowledge that you have already learned. So sine theta, okay, the graph for sine x, this is the graph for y equals to sine x. So once you multiply the sine x by 2, this one is 1, so the maximum is 1, the minimum is -1, right? So I explained a simple concept here. So here will be -1, here will be 1. So how if I multiply the sine x with 2, right? With 2. So of course, the amplitude of the graph also will be double up. Okay, double 2. Here's 2. So means that the minimum will become -2, the maximum become 2. Alright, so the number in front of the sine, the trigonometric equation, the coefficient, is very important in determining the maximum and minimum value. This is also the same. If I multiply with 3, I will get 3 and minimum -3. So now I concluded that the maximum minimum for this function is 3 and -3, right? So try to find out what you have already studied for the graph, okay? The graph for graph here that we're not going to repeat in matriculation. So, okay, see. Okay, now I go to the very simple concept. I go through all the basic first. For what happens if I double, right? I double the angle. So it will be still the same, the 1 and the -1. Alright, just the graph for sine, right? Sine. So if you double up the angle, do you still remember? The graph will go double cycle, right? They will repeat 2 cycles, right? Instead of 1 cycle. But the maximum and minimum will still be the same. Alright? Okay, now I'm not going to elaborate. So I just want to tell you what happened inside here doesn't affect the maximum and minimum. But what happened in the amplitude here will affect the maximum and minimum value. So for example, even though you will have sine 2x minus with 30 degree, minus with 100 degree, 100x, x over 2, anything happen inside here, the maximum and minimum always 1 and -1. Except if in front here, you put a value of 3. Okay, maybe you put 3. Then here will be maximum 3, minimum -3. So do you understand what I mean? Alright, what will affect the maximum and minimum is the amplitude, the coefficient in front of the trigonometric function. So as you look at this, okay, let's back to the question. So the question asking about, what is the maximum and minimum value for this expression? What is the maximum and minimum value for this expression? So very simple. As you know that sine maximum 1, minimum -1, right? You got two way. So one is you substitute. You know that the maximum value, the maximum value and the minimum value. Alright. Sorry, the maximum and minimum value. Some will be try and error. So where they know that what is the maximum for sine x minus 53.1? Just this one. Alright, as I tell you, sine x, don't care what is happening inside here, minus the maximum is 1, minimum is -1. In order for this to be maximum, the sine x minus 51 must be 1, right? So I just multiply with 1, I got 5. So 5 will be the maximum value. And to get minimum value, I have to choose the minimum value for this, right? So that you get negative 5. So I can set maximum at 5, minimum value is negative 5. This is the first alternative, okay? Alternative number 1. So some students prefer inequality. They deduce. They know that 53.1 degree from here, this is equal to this, right? But for this, it's between negative 1 and negative 1, right? So, and sine x minus 53.1 is actually is actually this one, right? So then they try to multiply 5, okay? Try to multiply 5 to the inequalities. So you got 5 and you got negative 5 here. So now you can see that what is this? This is actually 3 sine x minus 4 cos x in between 5 and negative 5. Very clear that the minimum value will be negative 5, right? And the maximum value will be 5. Okay, this is alternative number 1. We just substitute value. Alternative number 2, you deduce from the inequality. Okay, all right. Now, for example, if the question asking you to find the range of value of 3, okay, range of value of 3 sine x minus 4 cos x plus with 6, okay, plus with 6. So you also know that the range of value means the maximum and minimum value, right? The range in between. So very simple. So what is the maximum value here? Look at this question. You know that you need to write this in this form. So now you have equals to 5 sine x minus 53.1 degree plus with 6. Now after you express in this form, you can decide the maximum and minimum value. So the first alternative is maximum value. You just substitute this with 1 because the maximum value for this is 1. If you substitute with 1, definitely you will get 11, right? Or the other way, you see if okay, let's see. So minimum value. So minimum value, you substitute by negative 5 multiply negative 1 plus with 6, which equals to 1, right? Negative 5 plus 6, 1. So if you're confused, you just substitute value of 1. I substitute with 1 and negative 1. You try and error first. The bigger value, of course, will be the maximum value, right? This is try and error. So another way will be, you know that this is alternative number 1. Alternative number 1. Alternative number 2. Number 2, you write sine. You start from this, that the maximum and minimum is between 1 and negative 1, right? Start from this basic, okay, that you know that sine is maximum 1, minimum negative 1. Then you start multiply with 5. Multiply with 5. This is more pro actually. So it's 5 and negative 5. And not finished yet because there is a plus 6 here, right? So I go and plus 6. I go into plus 6 for the inequality. 53.1 degree plus with 6. So 5 plus 6, you have 11. So negative 5 plus 6, you got 1. What is actually this, right? What is actually? This is actually this expression. So 3 sine x minus 4 cos x plus 6 in between 11, and this is the range, right? It's a range. So where they tell you the minimum is 1 and the maximum is 11, right? So either this or this will be enough to decide the maximum value and minimum value. All right. So all right. I give you another example, okay, for this case. All right. So that more variety. So How if the question asking you in this way? How if the question asking that 9 sine x minus 12 cos x. They ask what is the maximum and minimum value for this, right? What is the maximum and minimum value for this? Okay, same thing. Just compare, right? Just compare. What's the difference between this and this? Because I'm going to use this one to deduce the maximum minimum value. So I think I can factorize out the 3, right? If I'm not mistaken, I can factorize the 3 sine x minus 4 cos x. Can you see this? You can get from here, right? Which is the same as 3 sine x. It's 5, right? 5 sine x minus 53.1 degree. So then you know that it will be 15. Now 15 sine x minus 53.1 degree. So means that the 9 sine x minus 12 cos x. You factorize the 3 first to get this expression that same as this. Then so that you can apply this, right? So 3, 5, 15. So from here, what's the maximum value? So the max value, you just plug the 1 inside this because you know it's 15, and the minimum value you just put -1, so you get -15. So the maximum 15, minimum is -15. So I hope you already have some idea. Alright, you have to try question. If you have any problem, you will always refer to lecturers. Alright, so I think that's all for this video.